Trouble is unavoidable, and you might be saying, well, Dave, that's not a very comforting way to start your devotion here. But let's dive into it a little bit more because there actually is a lot of comfort we can take from this. Proverbs 12:13 says that an evil man is ensnared by the transgression of his lips, but the righteousness escapes from trouble. Other versions say the righteousness will come through trouble. And this reminds us of a very powerful truth that is one of God's promises that righteousness does not guarantee a trouble free life, but it assures us that God will see us through every difficulty that we face. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's very comforting for me, right? Because, like I said, trouble is unavoidable. As believers, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, okay, we're his children, so we're going to be protected. That's going to shield us from pain and hardship, and we shouldn't have to, if something's going wrong in our life, then maybe we must be something must be going wrong. But the Bible's clear that trouble is part of the human experience, even for the righteous. I mean, look at Jesus himself. Did he endure trouble and hardship in his life? Absolutely. But John 16:33, Jesus tells us, in the world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. So being righteous doesn't exempt us from the storms of life, but it does guarantee us one thing. It guarantees us something much greater. God will see us through. God's deliverance in our lives. God's deliverance through trouble. This is a very powerful thing, and it's something that you should take comfort in. The second half of that verse is the righteous escapes from trouble. Notice it doesn't say the righteous avoid trouble, right? But they will escape from it. That suggests trouble is going to come. The righteous are going to endure trouble, but we don't have to stay stuck in it. Jesus has already overcome the world. Think of the biblical examples like Joseph. I've talked about him in the past. He endured betrayal, slavery. You can imagine the pain he went through during his slavery, the abuse he took after the incident with Potiphar's wife, imprisonment. All of that happened before God elevated him to a position of great influence. Daniel in the Bible, one of the, one of the few men in the Bible that God doesn't say anything, there's nothing negative about him, right? He faced the lion's den. I would say that was trouble, but he emerged, untouched. These stories remind us that God's plan, it'll often walk us through these trials. We're going to walk through them. That's the key. We're going to walk through them, not around them. But we have to have peace in the process. What sets believers apart isn't the absence of difficulty in their lives, but the peace that they carry through it. Philippians 4:7 says, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and mind in Jesus Christ. The peace comes from trusting God and that God is working all things together for good. Romans 8:28. So every trial that we face, it refines us, it deepens our faith, and it can prepare us for something that God has planned for us, a greater purpose. So, kind of to wrap this up, the Proverbs 12:13, it teaches us not to fear trouble, but we just need to make sure we're trusting in God's faithfulness. As the righteous, our hope is in the promise that no matter how challenging the situation is, God is always going to see us through. He's told us that. And we will emerge stronger and better prepared for his kingdom and his glory because of this. And that's his purpose. So as believers, let's embrace the trouble that we face every single day, because let's face it, we always face trouble every single day. And that's okay. Let's cling to the peace that comes from knowing that God is with us. Remember, the same God parts the Red Seas, he shuts the lion's mouth, he rolls away the stone. He is the one walking us through every single trial that we face. And when we come out the other side, we will always be better off for it, and it will be for his glory, our growth. So if you're going through some trials today, which I'm sure many of you are, have peace that God is going to see you through that, and you're going to be better off for it. So God bless. I appreciate you watching today. Hope you got a lot of value out of it, and we'll see you back next week. Take care.